We're here today in solidarity with the hunger strikers in Brussels. In Brussels, in a church and universities in the centre, in the European capital, there are 470 people who have been occupying the church and the universities since January. Since the 23rd of May, they've been on hunger strike. That's 51 days today. Medics have said that they're suffering irreparable damage to their organs. These people are not asking for charity, they're asking for basic human rights, basic equality. They're not newcomers to Belgium, they've been in Belgium 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years and more. Some of them came as children, some of them have children. We in Ireland, with our history, know that nobody goes on hunger strike unless if they have anything else to fight with. These people are workers. Between them, they've given centuries to building Europe's capital. And this is how Europe is treating them. This is not the Europe that we want. This is a desperate situation. There are 4 people who have already sewn their lips shut. There have been over 400 ambulances called to the sites. Lives are really at stake, and the government is not listening. These people have contributed to Belgian society, they've contributed to building Europe's capital, and we are letting them die. This is not the Europe we want. We want better for Europe. We want European values for everybody. We want dignity for everybody, and that's why we're here today.
Nadeem is a 34-year-old man from India living in direct provision for the last 3 years. He fled India for 2 main reasons. The first being that he is a Muslim and his parents were killed in West Bengal in an act of anti-Muslim hate in 2018, causing him to fear for his life. And the second reason being that Nadeem was a Communist Party of India Marxist politician under the Modi government. I think it's extremely important that we discuss this point, and we're not afraid to bring it up as a key reason as to why Nadeem cannot return to India. The case has been one that has now garnered a lot of attention, and when we visited Nadeem in the Direct Provision Centre yesterday, I must say that it was an extremely uncomfortable experience. The staff are not unkind, but we were not permitted to use our phones, to have them in our hands, nor to speak with Nadeem in private. And to me, that is indicative of the lack of respect for privacy and for dignity that's characteristic of direct provision. Direct provision is a privatised for-profit system that the government subsidises to the tune of €50 million a year. When I am told that we cannot care for Nadeem because of our own domestic problems, this is one place that I will point. The reality is that we can care for the homeless men and women and children for this country, as well as people like Nadeem, but the government cares little for either group. Nadeem is not my enemy, and he is certainly not yours. We are not in competition, and our relationship does not need to be antagonistic. We have a common enemy with Nadeem, and that is the wealthy Irish and American capitalists running these direct provision centres, making a profit off of human suffering and misery. You have more in common with Nadeem than you do with Irish capitalists running these centres like Noel C. Duggan and Aramark shareholders. We are copying our colonial masters and calling ourselves free, and tell me, is that not delusional? This rotten government have learned nothing from our past, and they deserve none of our sympathy or our compassion. Nadeem is extremely ill and in terrible pain, which is going to continue to worsen, but his strike continues. Heather Humphreys, Minister for Justice, and Micheál Martin on Taoiseach are well on their way to becoming complicit in this man's murder in the care of the state if they do not wake up and act. The state is rotten to the core and could not care less about any of us, which is why we must look after each other. It is our duty when no one else will do it for us. It is easy and the response of the common man to say that it is not your business, but all of us here understand that it is our business, because it is only by luck that we are not in Nadeem's situation. Nadeem is our brother, and he is much more like any of us here today than any of those rats in Dáil Éireann. Thank you for coming.